Welcome to this explainer. We're diving straight into an incredibly heavy, yet literally awe-inspiring historical and religious narrative today. We're looking at a woman who stood right inside the palace walls of the ancient world's most feared tyrant and completely defied him. We're talking, of course, about Hazrat Asiya. If you've ever wondered how unwavering conviction actually challenges absolute, unchecked power, you are in exactly the right place. Let's get into it.
Woe to you! What makes you rebel against Allah? Now listen, this wasn't some distant battlefield cry. This was spoken directly into the face of a ruthless dictator by his very own queen. To really wrap our heads around how a woman living in the absolute epicenter of unchecked power made this ultimate sacrifice, we kinda have to go back to the beginning of this source material. We need to understand the dark reality of the world she was living in. Section 1. Pharaoh and Hazrat Asiya. A clash of convictions.
The historical sources present this absolutely stark contrast between these two figures. On one side, you've got Pharaoh. The texts describe a man completely blinded by his own ego, violently demanding to be worshipped as a literal god and treating the entire Israelite population like disposable property. But then, on the flip side, you have Hazrat Asiya. Coming from an ancient noble lineage, she was actually forced into this marriage, totally against her will. But here's the amazing part. Despite being surrounded by just unimaginable wealth and luxury, her heart was never corrupted. She kept her faith a secret and was actually known as the mother of the poor. She was literally acting as a hidden sanctuary for the oppressed, right under Pharaoh's nose.
Moving to Section 2. Birth of Hazrat Musa, a tyrant's nightmare.
So the inciting incident here starts with a terrifying dream. Pharaoh's astrologers interpreted this dream with a stark warning, telling him that a boy born among the Israelites would rise up and completely shatter his empire. And driven by just sheer paranoia, Pharaoh issues this horrific decree, the execution of all newborn Israelite boys. He goes as far as setting up an intricate spy network, basically forcing local midwives to act as informants for his soldiers. It's a truly chilling environment.
Okay, let's trace the breathtaking sequence of events on the actual morning of Musa's birth. When the baby is born, the midwife is so struck by a divine light on his face that she instantly feels this profound love and absolutely refuses to turn him in. But Pharaoh's spies are literally already approaching the house. In a sheer panic, the mother does the unthinkable. She desperately hides her newborn in a glowing, burning oven. The guards find nothing and leave. When she rushes back, she finds that the fire had miraculously been made cool and completely safe for the child. Amazing, right? Shortly after that, she is divinely inspired to place the baby in the river. She asks a carpenter to build a wooden box. Well, this guy figures out what's happening and runs off to inform the guards. But in this crazy miraculous twist, he completely loses his ability to speak. The guards think he's just mocking them and chase him away. And so the wooden box is securely finished and placed right into the rushing currents of the Nile River.
Section 3. From Nile to the palace. The river's gift. Now meanwhile, inside the palace walls, Pharaoh's daughter is gravely ill. The astrologers had actually predicted that a child would arrive from the Nile and his saliva would be the cure. So when this mysterious wooden box washes up and is brought inside, the baby's arrival miraculously heals the princess just as predicted. And it's in this exact moment that Hazrat Asiya lays eyes on the baby. The sources say she instantly felt an overwhelming divine love for him. She formally adopts the child right then and there. Think about that paradox for a second. The ultimate tyrant is now housing the exact boy destined to dismantle his entire empire.
This profound immediate bond prompted Asiya to make a very powerful plea. Because of course, Pharaoh took one look and dismissively wanted absolutely nothing to do with the child. But Asiya stepped right in. She told him, "He is a coolness of the eyes for me and for you. Do not kill him." By using those exact words, she effectively threw this massive, protective royal shield right over baby Musa, completely saving him from Pharaoh's initial paranoid wrath.
But we quickly hit a major problem. The baby is starving. His cries are echoing through these grand palace halls, but he absolutely refuses to nurse from any of the royal wet nurses. The source material notes this as divine intervention, making sure the future prophet would only be nourished by pure lawful means. Enter Musa's sister, Kulthum. She had secretly followed the box down the river and was watching the palace like a hawk. Seeing all this panic, she brilliantly steps forward and says she knows a woman who might be able to feed him. And that woman, of course, was their biological mother. So within just 3 days, the mother is reunited with her baby. And get this, she's now nursing him safely under the absolute protection and on the payroll of the very tyrant who'd literally just tried to kill him. You can't make this stuff up. So, years pass. The baby grows into a man. The source texts detail his eventual return to Egypt as a prophet, where he confronts Pharaoh and his magicians with undeniable miracles. But as this massive public battle of faith is waging outside, we really have to ask ourselves, how did Pharaoh react when he realized that this unwavering, defiant faith had secretly infiltrated his very own palace? Which brings us to Section 4, the Mashada's Great Martyrdom, a hairdresser's faith.
This is the emotional catalyst of our narrative. The Mashata was the royal hairdresser for Pharaoh's daughter, and she was a secret believer. One day, a simple dropped comb changed absolutely everything. As it fell, the Mashata involuntarily whispered, "Bismillah," in the name of Allah. Pharaoh's daughter snaps to attention and asks, "Wait, do you mean my father?" And the Mashata bravely, without missing a single beat, replies, "No, my Lord and your father's Lord is Allah." With that single whispered word, the entire illusion of Pharaoh's godhood was shattered right in front of his own flesh and blood. Naturally, the daughter immediately reported this back to her father.
And as you'd expect, Pharaoh was completely enraged. When the Mashada refused to recant her faith and worship him, he ordered a massive cauldron of oil to be boiled. In an act of just unspeakable cruelty, he threw her children into the boiling heat, one by one. The mother stood there like a mountain of resilience. But when the guards grabbed her final, nursing infant, her heart naturally broke, and she hesitated. It was at this exact agonizing moment, according to the source, that the infant miraculously spoke to her. The baby looked up and said, "O mother, do not grieve. Let them do their work, for the punishment of this world is nothing compared to the hereafter."
Now, a really crucial historical note here. According to the prominent scholar Ibn Abbas, this brave infant was actually one of only 4 babies recorded in these traditions to ever speak from the cradle. You can see the others here, including figures like Isa bin Maryam or Jesus. This incredible miracle gave the Mashata that final burst of strength she desperately needed, and both she and her baby were martyred, absolutely refusing to bow down to tyranny.
Section 5. Hazrat Asiya's Martyrdom, the ultimate sacrifice. The Mashada's martyrdom was the ultimate tipping point. Pharaoh marches back to his quarters, actually boasting to his wife about how he just punished a servant who dared to worship someone else. But Asiya, who had kept her own faith hidden for all these years, could not stay silent any longer. She looked at this man who claimed to be a god, and boldly rebuked him for his arrogance and his cruelty, openly declaring her faith in the one true God. Pharaoh was completely stunned. He tried pressuring her, he even brought in her own mother to try and talk her out of it, but she was immovable. Hazrat Asiya chose torture and martyrdom over the unimaginable luxuries of Egypt's greatest palace, proving once and for all that her spirit could never be owned.
And that brings us to our final, provocative thought for this explainer. We've just looked at the ultimate clash between a man who wielded absolute, unchecked, earthly power and a woman whose only weapon was her unwavering inner conviction. Pharaoh had the armies, the gold, the cauldrons, but history remembers the immense dignity and resilience of Hazrat Asiya. This source material shows us that in the face of absolute tyranny, true conviction will always outlast an empire. So what legacy of courage will you leave behind? Thanks for exploring this fascinating historical text with me today. Keep asking those big questions, keep learning, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.